Hey all, today I'm going to be explaining to you why I never went to university and why you shouldn't go either. University can be great and it can be fun, but it can also hold you back in many different ways. If this video helps you decide between going to university or not, or if you learn something new, then be sure to subscribe to the channel and ding the notification bell. But firstly, why should you go to university? And what circumstances would you actually go to uni for? Because there are definitely some very specific circumstances where you almost have to go to uni. But what are they? And what are the advantages? And the first advantage is that sweet, sweet social life. The social aspect of going to uni is unmatched. And most unis out there create like a whole freshers week with challenges and events and all that kind of stuff to settle you in. You also learn how to live on your own, with a whole bunch of new people that end up being your friends. You basically end up going out all the time and learning how to fend for yourself and that kind of stuff as well. So you basically spend 3 years having a great time and learning real world skills of how to live away from family and live on your own, which are really important for later in life. The second advantage of going to uni is that there are definitely some careers out there that you have to go to university for. If you want to be like a doctor or a dentist or a vet, or anything in the medical field, be it a nurse or a midwife or something like that as well, you probably have to go to university. Or maybe you want to become a teacher or a scientist or a different job that requires you to have a university degree. Well, in that case, you absolutely have to go to uni because otherwise you won't be able to do the job that you want to do without one. Another advantage of going to uni is that even though you take on a lot of debt by going, it's kind of like fake debt because it doesn't impact your chances to get a mortgage or a credit card or a car loan or something like that. If a company runs your credit record, they don't usually pay too much attention to whether you've got student loans or not. They only consider other things like payday loans or current credit card debt or failure to meet payments on time. You also don't pay off a student loan over like a 3 to 4 year period like you would a car loan. It gets paid over a much longer period of time, say like 20 years or something like that, and therefore the repayments are teeny tiny in comparison to a regular car loan. And in the UK, you only start paying it back when you earn over a certain amount, and if it's not all paid back by the time you reach a certain age, it just gets wiped out anyway. And the last advantage of going to uni is that not everyone's ready to go into the real world at the age of 18. Not everyone's ready for a corporate job, or a 9 to 5, or to start a business, and that's okay. Some people just need a few more years to continue living their younger life, whether they love playing Xbox, or going out clubbing 4 or 5 times a week, or sleeping 12 hours a day. Some people just want to prolong that period of being a kid. If you've enjoyed the video so far, then be sure to smash the like button as this really helps out with my channel. Also, drop a comment down below, let me know whether you went to uni or not, what you studied and whether you regret it, or whether you're actually going to go to uni or not. But why shouldn't you go to university? After all, that's what this video is all about. And I personally don't think that in most circumstances that you should go to university. And it's why I myself also didn't go. And the first reason is because right now, in 2020, most jobs don't actually require you to have a university degree. You can either go into them straight from GCSEs or A-levels or through the apprenticeship route. And now most people know that if you want to go into a trade-based job, like a plumber or an electrician or roofer or something along those lines, that you can do it via the apprenticeship route. But what most people don't know is that there's so many other jobs out there that you can get into via the apprenticeship route. What about something like accounting or investment banking? Surely you have to go to university for those. And well, actually, no, you don't. Most, if not all, of the top 40 biggest accounting practices or the top 40 biggest banks you can go into via the apprenticeship route, even for their top roles like audit or tax or corporate finance M&A, for example. Same with architecture or engineering or consulting. All of the biggest firms in each of these industries offer an apprenticeship route. And the thing that makes it even better is that doing an apprenticeship in any of these careers won't hold you back. It's not like, oh sorry, you did an apprenticeship so you can only be a manager. You can't progress to director or partner level. Because in reality, you can go all the way to the very top, even with the apprenticeship. And actually you might get there even faster because you haven't wasted 3 or 4 years going to uni. You've been learning on the job from day one. And therefore with the apprenticeship you can be earning just as much, if not even more, than someone with a uni degree. And arguably the apprenticeship is even better than the uni degree for some of these reasons I'm about to cover. And the next reason to do an apprenticeship and not go to uni is that you get on-the-job training. When you go to uni, you only learn the theory behind a subject, maybe with a few practicals thrown in there as well. But you only really learn what someone tells you, or what you read in a book, or what you see on a screen. And with an apprenticeship, you get real world, on the job, hands-on experience. You get to deal with clients and real world problems with real world solutions. You don't just sit an exam with a made up scenario that probably wouldn't happen, with an answer that probably isn't the correct answer or a realistic answer anyway. And this is especially helpful because in 2020, most jobs on their application forms just say that they need job experience or work experience. They say, we don't actually have any academic entry requirements, or maybe just some A-level entry requirements, but we do require that you have work experience. And obviously if you've gone to university, you probably don't have much of that. And this is why so many people struggle to get a job coming out of university, because the only work experience that you probably have is either a part-time job or maybe like a summer internship or one placement year. Whereas if you've done an apprenticeship, you likely have 2, 3, 4, 5 years of real world experience. And employers will obviously value this experience a lot more than they might a degree. Obviously it's not the case in all circumstances, because again, if you wanted to be a doctor, you have to have that degree. And the next reason not to go to uni and to do an apprenticeship instead is because you can start earning from a much younger age. You can probably start earning a full-time salary 2, 3 or 4 years faster, meaning that you're probably going to be able to buy a house or a car or whatever you want 2, 3, 4 or 5 years faster. But obviously some apprenticeships do have quite a low salary, but some apprenticeships like accounting actually have a really reasonable salary. With an accounting apprenticeship, you start on a salary of like 18 or 19 grand. And accounting at uni would be 3 or 4 years. So that means in the 3 or 4 year time period that you've done your apprenticeship, you've probably earned at least £72,000, probably even more because you'd have a pay rise every year as well. Now obviously you'd have to pay tax and national insurance on this, so it wouldn't exactly be 72 grand in cash. But what makes it even more crazy is that with an apprenticeship, you've got 72 grand of salary and 0 debt, compared to uni where you've got 30 grand of debt and 0 salary. So you can see the difference between the two of them ends up being well over like 100 grand. Another reason you shouldn't go to university is because of how expensive it is, especially in the last few years now that university fees have gone up to 9 grand a year. And then on top of that, you still need to pay for living expenses because you need to rent somewhere while you're at uni, and food and alcohol and anything else that you need to buy. So you can see that the uni fees do rack up really quickly, but it kind of doesn't really matter because it's like fake debt anyway. But obviously if you are earning over that certain amount, then each and every month for years, you're going to have to pay that money back. If you've made it this far into the video, then be sure to subscribe to the channel and check out some of my other videos. You also shouldn't go to uni because it holds you back from the real world. Maybe at 18 you are mature enough to start a job or to start a business. Maybe you just want to get out there and start earning money. Maybe you want to start investing at a young age, or maybe you kind of need to help out your family with their mortgage. Whatever the reason is, going to university kind of just delays that entry into the real world. But obviously no one's forcing you to go to university, but if you do want to get out there and start earning money, no one's forcing you to go, and really nowadays you don't need to go, as a lot of jobs you can enter by the apprenticeship route. Obviously if you can't enter a job by the apprenticeship route like a doctor or a vet, you probably do need to go to university. The final reason that you shouldn't go to uni is that you can still have a social life without going to uni. Just because you didn't go doesn't mean you can't ever go to a pub or go clubbing or ever go to a party. You can still do all of this even if you don't go to uni. Even if you work a full-time job, you could still go out every Friday night and Saturday night. You could still go out and get drunk and go clubbing. I mean, heck, you could even go out on like a Wednesday night and get drunk. You'd just be a little bit tired and a little bit hungover for work in the morning. So personally, I think you should only really go to uni if you do want to go into a job where you need a degree, like a doctor or a vet or a teacher or something in the education sector or a scientist, something along those lines. And you probably shouldn't go to uni to do a degree in accounting or marketing or like media studies or like art and photography or language studies or English, because you can get jobs in each of these sectors without a degree. I mean, sure, you could do a language degree and go into accounting, but it's a bit of a waste of time and money and has held you back for a few years because you could have just done an apprenticeship anyway and earned loads of money at the same time. As always guys, if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to check out some of my other ones. Alternatively, subscribe to the channel and ding the notification bell. That way you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. Cheers.